What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany. I am fairly new to the whole YouTube thing, so if you're watching, I appreciate it. I created this channel because I wanted to help those who feel that they feel things, know that they know things, and see that they see things, but are learning to trust in those things. So on this page, we can allow life to unfold and use spiritual eyes. Today's topic that I want to get into is voice activation and using negative comments to fuel your purpose. Oftentimes when we awaken, we end up understanding that we end up understanding that we have a purpose, right? And when you find your purpose, or when you start to kind of grasp onto it and understand what it is, this is the time where you learn that you're to take your gifts and you're to transmute them and give it to the world in order to lift and raise the frequency, right? A lot of times when it comes to using your voice, you don't know where to start, what to say. So you're talking, you're speaking, you're on this platform, right? And you're still a little new to this. You're still a little fragile. You're still learning how things go. And that's the point of right? The point of you speaking is so that you can kind of get your training wheels on and start learning how this goes to build your confidence up and all that kind of stuff, right? But when you're doing that, you come into these obstacles, right? I call moments of opportunity is what I'll translate that to. You come into these moments of opportunity where people come on your page or your videos and they comment something negative. And normally that thing that they comment can make you feel small again. It makes you shrink. It makes you feel like there's something that I did or something that I said. Maybe this is not for me. Those are the original first thoughts that come to your mind when you're out there using your voice and a negative comment hits your page, right? In this video, I want to give you a new perspective, right? I want to help you see how you can use those comments to transform, to expand yourself, to allow them to grow you, right? And I hope this perspective by the end of this video give you the confidence and the clarity that you need to stand in your truth and speak your truth. So let's talk about your awakening. Your awakening is remembering who you've always been, right? It's peeling off the layers, peeling off the opinions and the standards and all of the things that are not you, right? This is you finding yourself and remembering who you have always been. And in order to do those things, you've already went through this process of removing yourself or being rejected from these people, places, and things, which caused you to then go into a period of isolation where you were going through an identity crisis, right? You didn't know who you were, what you were doing, what you were here for. You didn't know anything. It was a wilderness. It was dark. It was unknown. It was scary, right? But this is a very beautiful place to be at, right? Because this is where your soul starts calling you, because it's light enough. There's nothing there holding it back from being able to pursue what it was put here to do, right? So we understand that when we're awakening, we're just returning to self. We're just peeling off layers and remembering who we've always been. And in that process, we get revealed to us information that has always been there, right? So you have access to these higher perspectives and higher understandings. Before you had that awakening, you were on the other side where things were kind of dark for you. You were unaware of a lot of things. Just things seemed very survival mode like, you know what I mean? Your soul paid the price on the other side of your awakening. Your soul paid the price because every single time you went against the things that your soul was calling you to do, right? The things that you really desire in life, how you really truly desire to be, and all these things. When you went against those things just to fit in or be a part of, right? You betrayed yourself to continue to hide. Your soul was being dimmed. You were being dimmed. Your light was being dimmed, right? But when you reach the awakening, you understand that you can no longer betray yourself. And so here comes your voice, right? Here comes your voice coming into play, because for some people it's a different talent. It might be music, art, whatever the case may be. For me, it's speaking, right? I understand that this very same thing that I couldn't necessarily use or didn't have the knowledge to use it in the way that I'm using it now. I didn't understand that, like, what I understand now is that I'm to use this from my past experiences, from when I was betraying my soul, right? I'm to use this voice to help others who are currently in that process but want to be out of it, right? I'm to speak in order to help raise the frequency, right? That's what your voice is to do. So also with your voice, what we have to understand is it's tied to your experiences and your awakening. There's so much back there. Remember, I said your soul already paid the price. You were dimming, you were hiding, you were boxed in, you weren't being yourself. You had layers of other people on you. Now, in the awakening, in the higher perspective, in the revealing of where you've always been, the information that's always been there, you understand now that the experiences that you had back there, those experiences are valuable because it brought you to this point to where now you have been revealed. This information has been revealed to you again. You remember yourself again. If though all those things brought you to this point to where you now remember yourself and now you are remembering information, how valuable can you take those experiences and help and translate them right and with a higher understanding to help other people through those experiences? That's the importance of your voice. I want to help you understand the confidence that you should have and where it comes from, and I want to give you that stability to be able to stand in your truth confidently and continue to speak. So I drew something out to kind of put it all together and make it make sense. So I'm going to show you guys on this poster board. I'm going to draw it out and explain it for you. All right, y'all. I know this isn't the best, but it's what I got. You know, these are the tools that God gave me. So we're going to get into it anyway. This board this poster represents Earth in its totality, right? This is Earth. The Earth is split into two, as you can see. This line that I drew here is what you would consider maybe the equator line, or what I like to call it, this is a mirror, right? Up top, we've got high frequency, light, consciousness, aware, clarity, right? And below, under this line, under this portion of the mirror is low frequency, it's dark, it's unconscious, unaware, and there's distortion down here. Up top, we have higher self, God, universe. This is what this whole top portion represents. Down, we can also say, right, I've heard people describe it as the video gamer holding the controller, right? It could be your higher self or God, universe, whatever, but we can picture this as maybe your higher self that's playing the video game. They're holding the controller and they're playing the video game. Down here, you would be your lower self or just your human self, and you would be the avatar, the actual character of the video game playing down here. All right, so now we are at the point to where we have awakened, and to awaken is to understand that you are one with all. You are connected, right? So that means your lower self and your higher self have connected at this mirror line, which makes you connected and one with all, with the whole thing. So now you have access to higher self, God, universe. This information is flowing to you. This information is accessible. It's been revealed. You consistently access this down here, just at ground level. Your mind operates here now, higher self, God, universe. We speak now from our higher self. We're connected to all. We hold and see both the light and the dark now, right? But when you speak, you're speaking from your higher self, but at ground level, because you still live here on earth, but your mind operates up here. So you speak from here, but you're here. Now your voice has to pass down from this higher intelligence into these lower frequencies to speak, to say what it needs to say. So this is when I say that when you're using your voice after you've had your awakening, there is nothing that you can say from up here that could be taken in any malicious way, because it's coming from higher self, God, universe. This is nothing but pure awareness. This is pureness. This is clarity, right? Because again, you can see now both light and dark. You are connected in one with all. Anything that comes from you, you're passing it down through higher intelligence and speaking it at ground level to lower frequencies, in lower frequencies. Now, others on this side, as you can see what I drew, others can only see in the dark, because again, we're down here on the lower frequency portion of the earth. They can only see the dark until they hear you, right? Because again, this is the mirror. This is the mirror. They can only see up to this mirror. You have passed this mirror, so you can see both light and dark. You can hold both. They only have the ability to see right here. So they can only see in the dark until they can hear you. You speak from above or past the mirror, right? If you speak from a higher perspective, they can't see themselves in that higher perspective that you speak from, right? So they look at it as if you're talking down to them, or they question what you even know, right? But we understand that you know this because you understood, you woke up to the fact that you're connected to all. And when you're connected to all, you understand that everything you know has already been a knowing. It's just always been there. So, with that being said, this mirror is essentially what separates the two. Now, the last thing that I want to explain is this mirror, right? This mirror. Since you have access to both high and low, you can see both ways. So you can see through this mirror, which what would normally be reflecting just you if you were to be looking down. It's now you can see yourself, but you can also see through the mirror and see down here as well, right? Down here, this particular person or whoever, these people, whatever, can only see you in this mirror. Some can hear themselves in you, but they can't see themselves just yet. So they're looking up at this mirror, and there's something that resonates with them when they look up at that mirror. When they hear you speak, they can hear themselves, right? But they just can't see themselves in you yet. This is your particular audience, ones that can hear themselves in you. They resonate with you because they see something that's within you, that's within themselves. They just resonate with you. The energy is resonating, right? And so with that, they now are, if they can catch on or they resonate to what your message or what it is that you're speaking from this higher perspective, from this pure place, they are now trying to figure out how they can see themselves in that light. And so that is going to be your tribe. Whereas these people right here can only see they can only see you when they look up, right? They only see you, but they don't hear themselves at all. You know what I'm saying? And so because they can't see themselves in that light, they'll look at it as if you're talking down to them, or they'll question the things that you know. When you awoke, when you realized that you were connected and one with all, you have all of this understanding, right? You have access to this area up here. This has been revealed to you because you went and peeled back those layers of yourself, and you're standing in your authentic truth. So anything that you say from this area is perfect. It's just pure awareness, and there's nothing malicious that you can say, because this came from the experiences that you experienced down here. But your frequency was raised up enough so much that the threshold opened up and allowed you to see. It allowed you to really have that new perspective, higher perspectives and higher understandings. So your experience brought you there to that point. You have to trust those experiences and stand in those experiences. There was never a decision that you made that was wrong, even when you were unaware or were unconscious. If it led you here, then there's something valuable in the things that you went through down there, because you can clearly see these things, right? So when you use your voice and you're speaking, right, you're taking something from, for example, right, you're taking something, and I'm going to give an example of my own personal experience with this, right? You're taking an example from something that happened down here when you were unaware, right? When you were in distortion, when you were vibrating in lower frequencies. You're going to take a situation from here and you're going to change the perspective with your higher mind now. And when you change that perspective, and it frees you, and because it frees you, you choose to speak it. And when you speak it, again, you're speaking it at ground level. It's you, but you're speaking from a higher self, right? And you're speaking it at ground level to these others. The ones that you're looking for are going to hear you, right? They're going to hear you before they actually see themselves in you. Because the point of this is for everybody to understand, when we're connected and we're one with all, you are them and they are you. The only time that you ever get resistance from anybody is because they're resisting the fact that this is a truth for them, right? And I'm going to go into depth and explain this. I'm going to give my own personal example so that I can kind of bring this all together for you. Now I want to give you an example of an experience that I had, right? And how I was able to change the perspective, how it helped me, how it healed me, how it was able to, not heal me, but how it was able to help me use this comment in order to feel my purpose, right? So I created a post, right? And this post that I made was a self-healing post, right? Anytime I speak, these are things that I've taken the perspectives and changed them in order to free me so that I can peel off a layer, right? And essentially be operating in my truest authentic form. So every time I'm putting that out there, every time I'm speaking something that I went back and healed, it's almost as if not almost, I am emitting that frequency out there for those that need to hear it, right? I'm transmuting that pain into something beautiful and I'm giving it to the collective so that it can help raise the vibration. That's the point of this thing, right? So I created a post, right? Or I wrote it down, a little download or whatever it was, about the narrow path. In my past, right, I suffer from religious trauma. And so there were things that were read to me out of books, out of religious books, that when I left those places, still kind of tormented me in a way. I learned how to find ways to change perspectives on things after I had my awakening, right? Because again, it's the realization that everything that you went through brought you to this point so that you could see that you're connected and one with all. So those experiences have value to them when you change the perspective on them. When you go back and change the perspective and free yourself, that's self-healing. And when you speak it, you're speaking life and you're lifting the vibration of the collective, right? So my post on the narrow path, I stated in there, the main points that I basically stated in there was that it's not a strict path with rules. It's a path that you create. You don't have to prove anything to anybody on this path, right? The path is narrow because it's made for uniquely you. You have to be uniquely yourself in order to walk it. And on this narrow path, your mind doesn't need explanation because this path is soul-led. So that was the message, and that was the interpretation or the perspective that I gave myself about the narrow path, because the previous perspective or the previous understanding that was given to me was that this narrow path is strict and it's straight, and you have to keep these commandments, and there's fire on one side and water on another side, and only one person can go down it at one time, and it's just given to you in this fearful manner. I had to flip that and change that, and when I did that, it was a perspective that freed me, right? Well, somebody came under the comments, right, and they said something. They said, so if you choose to be a rapist, then that's you choosing the narrow path. That was their comment, right? At first, you can take that comment and say, oh my God, did I say something that made them think that, you know what I'm saying? Did I not explain this all the way? Or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. This type of stuff can immediately make you question yourself, right? But I want to help you change your perspective right here. Anytime you post something, again, that's coming from a higher perspective, we automatically know, number one, there is nothing that you can say, nothing that can be taken in a malicious manner, right? That's number one. Number two is we neutralize that comment. We neutralize it. We understand that this thing is neither good nor bad. We don't put a label on it. We just look at it as it is, and we just say, okay, this is what the person said, and we take a step back. When we neutralize it and take a step back, then we can see, oh, okay. We have to understand that there is nothing wrong with us, right? This is remembering that there was never anything wrong with you. You must ask yourself, what is this teaching me? And what is this trying to reveal? These are two very important questions they're open-ended opportunity questions that help you expand yourself rather than shrinking yourself. Now, what can we see from the comment that was left, right? Once we've acknowledged that what we said came from truth, came from healing ourselves, and we're going to stand in it. We saw the comment, we neutralized it, we took a step back, we asked ourselves the question, what is it teaching me and what is it trying to reveal? We have to look at what you said and we have to compare it against what this person said, right? What we can see is that this person can't fathom being uniquely themselves. That's number one, right? Because we talked about the path being narrow because it's uniquely for you. You understand what I'm saying? Or this person lacks the ability to have or determine their own moral compass, right? To assume or to think that a free or pure soul would even, like, to think about having the freedom, right? Allowing yourself to be free and your soul to be free, and the first thing that you think of is rape. I don't think that that's what a pure soul would think. So this person really can't fathom, you know what I'm saying, how pure a soul can be. We also can see that maybe this person relies on external control And we can also see that this person fearing what's been programmed into their mind about human nature, right? And lastly, maybe even the fact that they're dealing with like intrusive or shameful thoughts concerning that. That's the only truth that I can see that was revealed to me from that comment. Now I'm going to expound on this to make this make more sense. And I always say this, right? There's two things that are going on in this life, in this world. There's what you can see with your eyes, and there's what you feel. And only one of those things is the truth. Only one of those things is real. So I want to connect this thing about seeing and feeling and resonance and resistance. There's two layers again, right? What we see and what we feel. There's the top and the bottom. There's above and underneath, right? So when you speak something from a true place, from an authentic place, and you put it out there to raise the vibration, that's the job, is to raise the vibration. That's the goal, to raise the vibration. You have an individual like that will come on your page and they will post something contrary to that. When we read the definition of resistance, it was the attempt to prevent something, right, by action or argument. Under the surface, what's going on is that what you have to see when you stepped out and when you didn't allow that energy to pull you down, but you asked the right questions, what you have to see is that the person that comes on your account, your page, or your video, and they comment something negative like that, they are unaware that this is a truth for them. And because they resist that truth, the action shows up in your comment section, right? So remember the diagram. You're speaking from above the mirror. You can see through the mirror and you can see your own reflection, but you can also see other people's reflections too, right? Some people, remember, there's some people that can't see past that mirror. They only see you, right? And because they resisted a truth that they heard, by resisting means there's an action that has to take place. He had to act on that resistance by putting that comment on, or not he, I don't know who it was, but this person had to act, right? They had to physically manifest the resistance by putting it in the comment section. So again, their soul did resonate with what you said under the surface, but because they resisted, because they're still betraying themselves, because they're still hidden in other people's opinions and lower frequencies and vibrations, they resisted. And that resistance was the comment under your comment section. So this person essentially doesn't know that they're really showing you what their real truth is. And we just went over what this person's real truth is, right? They can't imagine a life where souls are free and they exist and they don't need control, or that, they're sovereign and they don't make decisions like raping people, right? They just can't fathom these things. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay, because eventually hopefully they will. That's the goal of this life, is to remove the things that chain people, that bind people, right? So when you change your perspective about it, you allow that to free you and know that, again, this comment came on your page, or it came on my page, right, to show me that my voice is activating. It hit somebody under the surface. This was a truth for somebody that they didn't want to acknowledge. And so because they didn't want to acknowledge that truth, it showed up in my comment section. It was nothing but a reinforcement to me. It was nothing but a battery pack to keep me going, right? So that's how I want you to look at this. I want you to change the perspective of these things when they happen. I want you to look at the fact that you're grabbing this information from somewhere higher, and that there's nothing that you can say that can be taken in any way. If anybody takes it in a way that is not high frequency, or whatever the case may be, that's on them. That's something that they have to deal with, right? But you know that you are responsible for raising the frequency, right? So there's a few things that you can do. For me personally, since I'm just starting in this, right, I choose to remove the comments, because again, I'm building something, and what I'm building, the energy needs to stay. I want my energy on my page to stay pure. Just me personally for right now. Now, maybe one day when this thing grows, there's be too many comments for me to go in there and move things, right? But for now, as I'm building, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I see the comment, I'm aware of it. I'm not going to keep that on my page, because there's people that when they see or hear certain things, and they're trying to, they see, right? They see you speaking, but they hear themselves. There's something that their soul is hearing that's connecting to, they're resonating with your message. But because they're still so cloaked, like I said, in other people's opinions and the low frequencies and vibrations, any little thing can deter them or take them away from what it is that you're sharing and the frequency that you're trying to raise them to, right? So for me, I make it my responsibility to keep my place and my page a safe space and a safe haven. And that's how you do anything is how you do everything, right? That's within my own house, right? My own house operates in peace. And so my page will do the same thing. And so it's completely up to you how you choose to handle it. This is what helps level me out. Because when you do use your voice, you have a responsibility. And because you have this understanding and access to higher perspectives and understanding, it doesn't make you better than anybody, right? Because I could look at that and I could label this person and I could make them feel bad, and that's not my intention, right? My intention with this video was to open up the understanding so that we could see what's really going on here, is to help you move on as a creator to use your voice, right? So I wrote this down in a way to help you close this perspective, right? Or put this perspective into one box that will help you see it clearly, right? I explained how this person cannot fathom that type of purity within themselves in that way just yet, right? So there's a hope. We still hope that one day they will be able to. But they resisted by unconsciously speaking their truth on my video, attempting to tear down my truth, right? And that's all this is the ability to see, the ability to feel, and to tell the difference between the two. So I want to give you some ways in which you can think about this thing in ways that will heal you, right? When you're speaking your truth, you're living in your authenticity, negative comments only confirm, right, that your message is hitting and that you are elevating. That's all the negative comments do. They confirm for you that you're elevating, that you're expanding. You cannot allow them to shrink you back down and betray yourself and not speak your truth, because that's what we did on the other side of this awakening. On the other side of this awakening, we did not say the things that we needed to say. We did not say the things that we saw, right? We did not know how to transmute our pain into purpose, really. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing. Your job is not to convince, it's only to come out here and speak. That is it. So when people come in here and they say their comments, your job is you understand what's going on here. You have the ability to rewrite the narrative, right? This is you creating this thing, right? We don't conform to the collective, we elevate it. So we don't shrink back down to the things that they want us to shrink down to. We elevate. Your voice is for those who are ready to hear it, not for those who are resisting it and who refuse to and who leave those. You cannot be concerned with that. Your job, again, is to speak and emit that frequency for those that need to hear it. These negative comments should remind you of the reasons why you do what you do, right? Because there are people that think in these ways, and we're trying to shift that. We're trying to raise the frequency so that these thought processes don't even have to be a thing. So I want to talk about activation, your voice activation and your purpose, right? Your voice, right? It continues to grow and activate and open every time you use it. Your gift sharpens every time you use your voice, right? So we want to keep using our voice. Don't stop using it. Keep speaking, keep posting. You're not learning, to use your voice. You're really just, every time you get on here, you're remembering how to use it. You're remembering your gift. You're feeling your way through this thing, and you're creating space for others to do the same. You're creating space for others to walk this narrow path that is uniquely theirs. They can do this through seeing you do it, right? But they can do it in their own way. And that's the part that I want you to see. That's the power that you have every time you continue to speak regardless. Every time you take your understanding and you speak it and you don't allow those negative comments to bring you back down. You remember who you are, you remember your experiences, and you stand in them, and you're confident in your ability to continue to raise the frequency, because that is what's more important over the negative comments. I like to use this analogy, right? Like a fire, when you're starting a fire from scratch, literally it's like ksh, ksh, ksh. You hear that, you see them hitting the rock up against the, and you see the sparks flying and stuff, right? And then eventually the fire catches and it starts to build, and it's big enough where people can sit around it and be warm and cozy when it's cold and stuff like that. So this is the same thing with your voice, right? You have to keep practicing it, and then one day it'll catch fire. One day it'll start. One day you'll have remembered your voice completely. You'll have embodied your voice completely, to where now your voice does warm others when you speak. It's a light in dark, right? That's what we want with this whole thing. So in closing, I do want to remind you, you do have a purpose, right? Voice does have a purpose, or you do have a mission or an assignment. Your voice is needed, and your awakening is very real. Do not shrink, expand. Leave your viewers with a sense of clarity and empowerment, the ability to be able to stand in their own truth and speak that fire that warms those others that need to feel that warmth, or that need to see that light. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope that you leave this video with the confidence to pursue your purpose, stand in your truth, and activate your voice. Until next time.